Dracarys.
At the queen's command, the dragon fire roared forward, piercing through her body and blazing towards the enemy. But the dragon's path to growth was fraught with danger. After their birth, they wandered with Daenerys displaced and vulnerable. Most of the Dothraki had abandoned them, leaving them with scarce food and water. Even the white horse gifted by Khal Drogo collapsed in the desert. If this continued, they would all share the same fate. Daenerys acted decisively, ordering 3 capable men to split up and search for food and water. Soon after, one of the horses returned, but its rider was disappeared. Ser Jorah stepped forward, inspecting the horse, and discovered a bundle tied to its saddle. Inside was a severed head and a braid of hair. This was a warning from the Dothraki who had abandoned her. They could not accept being ruled by a woman. To them, it was a disgrace. Though furious, Daenerys had no way to retaliate. A few days later, another scout returned with good news. Just 3 days' ride to the east was Qarth, a city governed by 13 wealthy merchants known as the 13. The spark of hope reignited their spirits, but the gates did not open as they had hoped. The 13 did not believe in the existence of dragons, nor did they care about Daenerys' plight. They demanded to see her 3 dragons before granting entry. Daenerys refused outright. One of the 13 mocked her cruelly in front of everyone and walked away. But Daenerys was no longer the timid girl she once was. Enraged, she shouted,
13! When my dragons are grown, we will take back what was stolen from me. Turn us away, and we will burn you first.
Her fury and determination left everyone stunned. One of the 13, Xaro Daxos, was moved by her courage and offered to vouch for her. The gates finally opened, and Daenerys' group was allowed entry. Inside, her 3 baby dragons learned to breathe fire for the first time, finally able to fend for themselves.
He'll be able to feed himself from now on.
That evening, Xaro hosted a grand banquet for Daenerys. He led her to a treasure vault, claiming it contained unimaginable wealth. If Daenerys agreed to marry him, she would gain the resources needed to reclaim her homeland.
I come from nothing. My mother and father never owned a pair of shoes, but marry me and I will give you the 7 kingdoms. And our children will be princes and princesses.
Tempted by his promises, Daenerys shared everything with Ser Jorah immediately. But instead of support, she was met with opposition. Jorah warned her that Xaro was no more than a cunning merchant, always seeking profit in every deal. He reminded her that there were no true allies in Qarth. Jorah promised to find a ship and take her away as soon as possible. But the fragile peace was shattered by a sudden disaster. Daenerys' 3 dragons were gone.
Where are my dragons?
With Xaro's help, Daenerys demanded an audience with the 13. Yet none of them were willing to help, many even ridiculing her.
If I knew where they were, I would not tell you.
Suddenly, one of the 13, a warlock, interrupted. He claimed he could help Daenerys.
How?
I will take you to the house of the Undying, where I have put them.
It was all a trap. The warlock had stolen her dragons, and the mastermind behind it all was none other than Xaro. His ambition was to rule not just Qarth, but the 7 kingdoms as well. To achieve this, he planned to use Daenerys and her dragons as tools.
The mother of dragons will be with her babies. She will give them her love, and they will thrive by her side. Forever.
Witnessing this betrayal, Daenerys fled in desperation, but the warlock's magic was everywhere. Luckily, Ser Jorah arrived just in time to save her and lead her away. He had already secured a ship and urged Daenerys to leave the dragons behind and escape. But Daenerys had long since come to see the dragons as her children.
And they are the only children I will ever have. Take me to them.
Knowing it was a trap, Daenerys still chose to enter the House of the Undying. Enveloped by magic, she vanished into thin air.
Khaleesi!
Inside the tower, drawn by the cries of her dragons, Daenerys found herself in a circular chamber surrounded by many doors. She opened one and saw the Iron Throne she longed for. Just as she was about to reach for it, the sound of a baby crying pulled her away. She followed the sound into a tent, where she saw Khal Drogo sitting on the bed, holding their unborn child. She lay in Drogo's arms, touching the baby's face, wishing she could stay in this moment forever. But the cries of her dragons brought her back to reality. She had to leave no matter how much it pained her. Her 3 baby dragons were waiting for her. When she finally reunited with her dragons, the warlock appeared, using magic to bind her and the dragons in chains. He planned to imprison them there forever, but he underestimated Daenerys and the power of her dragons.
Dracarys.
At her command, the dragons unleashed their flames. The intense fire engulfed the warlock, reducing him to ashes. The chains melted away, and Daenerys and her dragons were free. Afterward, Daenerys confronted Zorro. It was then she discovered her handmaiden had betrayed her.
He said you'd never leave Qarth alive.
Come.
Using Zorro's own key, Daenerys opened the treasure vault, only to find it empty. The betrayal taught her a harsh lesson.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching me this lesson.
This time, she showed no mercy. On her orders, Zorro and the traitorous handmaiden were locked in the dark, empty vault. Daenerys then raided Zorro's wealth in the Dothraki way. Although it wasn't much, it was enough to buy a small ship. Holding her dragons close, Daenerys set out on a new journey.